Tomb Raider, Last Revelation. This little title was released in 1999, and it was intended to be the last one. Trust me, I realized that when my cousin told me something about it, and I couldn't believe it at first. But we'll get to that bit in a little bit. Now, this was the first game using a new, inventory screen setup, as well as a first game that actually had tutorial sections in it. Now, the tutorial section, which is set in Laura's youth, when she went to help Werner von Croy on an expedition in Cambodia in the Angkor Wat region. And it's in this part that you learn your skills in the game. The majority of the skills in the game. And of course, if she knows these skills in her youth, why is it that she couldn't use some of them in the earlier games? Oh well, that's TR logic for you. Like the first section of the game is literally learning your controls. The second is a race with Werner von Croy. This also shows somewhat of what is supposed to serve as the foundation of what initially was supposed to be the animosity between the two. It's also, we see the reason why Werner walks with a cane in the later entries. Well, in the later part of the game. And Werner is more about getting the artifacts than dealing with the possibility that maybe he shouldn't be getting the artifacts. Well, the rest of the game then takes place in Egypt, which it seems that Laura and Werner are after the same artifact. And while Laura is a lone wolf and usually employing only those that she needs to help her get to the location and making friends along the way, Werner he has money. So he can hire out assassins and all that. And, well, we have an instance where Laura is trying to get a relic, and she actually finds the relic. I think it was an Ankh. I can't remember what exactly it was the Ankh of. But when she retrieves it, she sets in motion the events for an end of the world. So now it's a race to get the armor, for her to get the armor of Horus, so that she can, quote, re-imprison Set. And Set is, of course, looking for a body to possess to bring him the armor, because he's building up his strength or something, and either he wants to destroy it so he doesn't get grounded to a location. Now, this is the first game that I've seen areas take up multiple parts. So when you transition between parts, you actually get a boost in health. So, like for people who want to do like a speed run or a no loads, no meds challenge, they have to figure this into how they do things. Now, as you are working through things, you are of course dealing with stuff like scorpions and beetles and jackals and assassins and Von Croy's men. But at some point, you start running into non-killable enemies or very tough enemies. I mean, you got skeletons running around, and you have to literally destroy them before to keep them from killing you. I mean, you could shoot them, knock them down, they'll get right back up. Now, you explode them, hey, they're not getting back up from that. Or get rid of the skull. Although it doesn't necessarily totally stop them if you get rid of the skull. It just means they can't target you. They're just running around, like chickens with their heads cut off. Use the old adage. And the massive areas, those are actually very interesting because of the transition, and sometimes new enemies appear, and when you're hunting for all the armor of Horus, you can actually go back to the one guy and get hints on where to look for them. And this game is also very puzzle heavy. I mean, one area looks like you could walk perfectly over to a location to where you need to grab something, but if you look in a mirror, you see tons of spikes locations on the floor. So you literally have to walk on the path denoted in the mirror, which is very clever in my book. You also have crossing some of the pyramids that you have to cross later in the game. It's a jump here, jump here, jump back, jump here, jump back, that kind of thing. You have to find the path. And while certain paths, certain misjumps would end in your death, other misjumps just send you right back to the start point. So it's a trick to get through that. They got mazes in there, puzzles that require certain combinations be hit. This game was more puzzle and less killing, which is a good thing in my book. But of course, it also had, for the first time, a moving level, a train level. I mean, yes, the level lasts as long as you can, as long as it takes you to get through the train. But, you do it because you have to. And this was the first time that the game had secrets in it that you had to find. And the only thing it really gave you was, hey, you found all the secrets. No bonuses for the secrets, just you found them. Which, some of the secrets are very tricky to find. You only have, like, for some, only one shot at finding them. And some secrets become inaccessible once you do certain things. So you have to get them while you can. But anyhow, back to hunting down things and hunting down the armor of Set. And throughout getting all this together and getting all the things you need, things are getting worse and worse in the world. I mean, a giant dragon has appeared, tight-like creature has appeared in Alexandria. So you got to help the soldiers. One goes on a suicide mission to really defeat the dragon. And so we got to stop this end of the world situation. Of course, you have to outwit turrets and armed soldiers and who knows all. You also have to deal with a Minotaur. Yay! Yeah, Minotaur gets unleashed. Of course, he can't travel all over. But once he can't be killed. He could just be detained for a little bit. Which is needed because he's got this powerful hammer that can actually knock you loose from a ladder if you're climbing up it. This game is also reliant on vehicles, specifically a quad bike. Although you drive a Jeep at one point in the game. But once you move through that and then get to the pyramids, it becomes more straightforward. You're not double backing in sections, and you're, for the most part, more puzzle oriented. I think Under the Sphinx is one section where you have to really be on the ball with the puzzles, as it's also home of the water maze. And I don't know if there's any map in the game or anything like that. There could be. I mean, if you look in certain areas, you will see hints to certain puzzles. In the Lost Library, there's a puzzle where you have to place the planets on certain locations in a giant observatory room, which is a decent challenge in my book. You also have to deal with other things. Like with all the puzzles, each puzzle can be handled in one way or another. Some may seem pretty oblique, but they can be solved. If not by clues, by trial and error. But it's a fun game. It was a fun game. And once you finally get to Set, which is after some very tricky traps and somewhat puzzles and assassins and all that. And I must admit, during one of the sets of puzzles, there is a known bug to happen. And closest people can figure it's related to how long you've been playing the game. Anyhow, yeah, that's in an area of water puzzles where you have a 5 liter water skin and a 3 liter water skin, and you have to put on the scale 1, 2, or 4 liters because it's not going to be simple. So you have to literally maneuver things around in the water skins to get the right amount. Like, you got to get 1. Okay, I'll fill up the 3, put 3 that into 5. I'll fill up the 3 again. Fill up. I'm full in the 5, but I have 1 liter left. Here you go. That kind of thing. 2 is probably the easiest to fill because, okay, I got the 5, pour the 3 into the 3. I got 2 left in the large. But that's how it works. It's just a matter of figuring it out. Now, of course, if you fail to solve that, do it once. You have to get another shot. You have to literally defeat Ahmet, because yes, they have Ahmet in there. And then you must fight Set, which, to contain him, you have to put the armor of Horus on the statue that is him. That is Set. This brings Set right into that room, trapping him in the room. And he's not happy about that. And you can't kill him. So you literally have to pull some switches so you can escape. And then seal off that chamber again. Then, of course, as the temple, as things start to collapse, you make your way through a trap-filled tunnel. And when you finally reach the end of the tunnel, Werner's there. He is, because of the whole experience, a little bit woke. He's there to help Laura, but of course everything goes collapsing, and it appears she is trapped inside the pyramid. And so we end the game with her apparent death. Of course, this had bans and an outrage, so, they had to make another game. But that's pretty much all for the Tomb Raider game. I mean, it was a very good game. I'm glad I finally got to play it after all these years. It was a little trying in some sections, but of course a little bit of that is counterbalanced by some of the great music they had in the game. Because that was some of the neat parts of it. I've seen some people do no loads, no meds, all secrets runs of this game, which is very tricky. And part of that is because of the transition, because as they figured it, we have to minimize those. And some people have found bugs that make secrets, while they are attainable without getting certain items, it's very tricky. And it involves hitting the right spots, which is good, and I like that. But like I said, this was a very good game, a very fun game, and I'm glad I had a chance to play it. Of course, now that means we set the scene for Chronicles, but also something else that they set up, and I could talk about that more at a later time. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about Tomb Raider: Last Revelation. Hope you subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. And until next time, this is Rich Kill. You're on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere. Bye!